Welcome to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, where we talk all things good food, good business, and good cars. And now, here is your host, Arnold Gacita, founder and CEO of Petra Automotive Products. Let's roll.
All right, so we have Christina here with us. She is the owner of Piquet, actually her and her mother.
Yes.
And this restaurant, so just to real quick to set this up, when we first moved to Houston and I was a kid, there was one little bitty Cuban, I don't know if I should even call it grocery store. It was like a C-store maybe, you know, like a convenience little Cuban store right here off of Chimney Rock. And Neno's dad, who was the original owner of the Piquet Restaurant, was the guy that had that little convenience store.
Yeah, Piquet Market.
Piquet Market. And so, you know, you'd go buy Cuban stuff that you couldn't buy anywhere. So all the Cubans that were migrating here, you know, that was their little place. There was no fiesta at the time. There was nothing like that. And then that grew to him doing Cuban sandwiches. I think it was his dad, right? Neno's grandfather that would be there doing some.
Neno's dad, he was mostly focused on the grocery store. It was actually Niñita and Neno who were taking care of the food on the other
sandwiches.
side.
Okay,
Yes.
but it was sandwiches first. So then you would go buy your Cuban stuff and get a Cuban sandwich. And then that led to Neno, your stepdad, and Niñita doing like the plate of the day. Am I right? Correct me where I'm wrong. So you go in for lunch and whatever they cooked that day. They had the Cuban sandwich and the plate of the day. That led to basically taking over the whole convenience store and making a little restaurant, right? With a couple of items, few items. That led to Nenito opening a restaurant before this one, right?
No. So what ended up happening there is then they got older and things like that. And actually, Niñita was having health issues and stuff like that. You know, personal issues are coming up. And yes, she was no longer in the restaurant. And then Chuli, he was getting older and finally he wanted to retire. But, you know, this was what Mom and Neno had been doing. Mostly Neno, that he had done it for a long time. But him and Mom were together and they decided they wanted to go ahead and continue the business. But they wanted to go ahead and create Cafe Piquet. So what they started as is they actually closed everything down with Piquet Market and they created cantinas. They started doing cantinas under the name of Cafe Piquet.
So for those who don't know cantinas, that's like you order food to take home.
Well, my mom was delivering, so Neno would make food, and then they would take little packaged food over.
That's a Miami thing.
Totally,
Cuban thing, Miami thing.
Totally. And they take it over to all of their customers.
See, this would fit your lifestyle perfect. You can pick up the phone.
No kidding.
You know, April's in town or whoever, you know.
Well, this is before DoorDash and all Uber and all that.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because they would literally get the order for a week and say, okay, on Monday it's going to be this, Tuesday it's this, Wednesday, and then Mom would go off and do all the deliveries. And sometimes I remember going over and helping deliver some of the items to some of the people.
Okay, so they opened the cantina.
They opened that up. It was the cantinas. They were just cooking them. They didn't actually have the storefront of that. Then they moved down and opened up the true restaurant of Cafe Piquet, which was over here off of Bissonnet and Rampart, right across from Cafe Miami. You remember?
Yeah.
So
I remember.
So they were there for a long time. They only had 9 tables, you know, a small little window, and Neno would be literally cooking on the other side. Mom was at the cash register taking care of everybody. And then over time, they just had a lot of success, and they ended up moving just next door to us now in the shopping center. And we're there for quite some time, several years. That was Mom's favorite. And eventually this location opened up, and they had always eyed this location. And when it became available, they jumped on it, and that's where we are now today.
Great. There's a sign here that says something about love, right?
Yes, all because 2 people fell in love.
Yes.
That was a sign Mom found, and she just felt like it was so appropriate, and literally, it truly was. They were the love of each other's lives.
And Neno, who is obviously the founder and the visionary of opening this Cuban restaurant from his dad's little convenience store, when he opened this particular location,
Thank you.
that is, what is that?
This is a sandwich de Policia.
Police sandwich.
It's a police sandwich, yes. And this was actually came from my mom and my grandfather. That was an idea that came up.
You
All right.
created it.
Before you
My
do,
mom did.
before we talk about that, and this is
That's split pea. That's chicharro.
chicharro, split pea soup, but the Cuban way.
Nice.
Yes. Yes.
And this is for the fat guy. Ropa vieja, which
Ropa
the
vieja.
translation means old clothes.
Yes.
So ripped old clothes.
Because
Black
it looks
beans,
like
white
that.
rice.
Oh,
Enjoy, guys.
absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so the founder, visionary, opened this restaurant, opened the idea of the restaurant Cafe Piquet in all these locations. You buys this, opens this. How?
Well, that was a joint effort between the two of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true. Between you and your mom.
It wasn't. They went in 100% together.
Yeah. So him and your mother working together to open Cafe Piquet,
Yeah.
move locations, buy their gene place. How long into it was it before Neno passed away?
Well, they opened up Cafe Piquet in '96. He passed away in 2006.
10 years.
So
He had a decade of
yeah.
doing it.
So obviously now it's quite a bit of time. I've been here for 15 years now.
And it's look, and I'm not saying that to bring it down, right? It's part of the history.
Oh, 100%.
And
yes.
and why I wanted to bring that out is because he was great. I loved him, and everybody in the city loved him,
Yes.
as well as your mom. But when he passes away, your mom has to keep going,
Yes.
and she did.
Yes.
With obstacles and challenges,
Yes.
she did, and not only did she do it, but now you reap also some of those benefits. Now you've been your own visionary, right? Because you've added things and taken things and been creative, and now you're bringing that, really third generation, into that, right? If we count his dad, right?
Yes, of course.
And his mom.
Yes.
Third generation into this restaurant. How does it feel to be that blessed?
It's wonderful.
You keep talking, I gotta
obviously.
do this the
No,
Cuban way.
Please start eating while
So
it's
the Cuban
warm.
way is you got to do
You
this.
got absolutely.
Already have.
You absolutely do. Yes. It feels really good. I feel like I have a lot of big shoes to fill. Needless to say, they both were incredibly loved in the community. Neno was larger than life, and you know him, and I mean everybody loved him. He was so much fun, and didn't matter where he was, who he was with, he could just mold, and everybody was attracted to him, right? And then mom, same thing. Mom, everybody loves mom, and she just always exuded this warmth and everything. And so I have people who come in are constantly asking about mom. Sometimes I don't even know them, and they go, "You're Nelly's daughter, aren't you?"
And I
so-
miss her being here.
I know.
It would be a long lunch, but I miss her being here.
Yeah.
She'd just sit down and start talking.
Oh, 100%, 100%. You wouldn't go back to work early. You'd be late. But yes, it's one of those things. It is. The restaurant business is a very hard business, and it's very demanding, and you have to love it and love the people and care enough to keep it going, because needless to say, you can make decisions that can make or break a restaurant. 100%. We've seen restaurants that come and go.
Are you very careful of making decisions, or you
100%.
test things out, or?
No, well, I mean, like I said.
I know with your mom, I've been here before where she goes, "Hey, try this. We're thinking about adding this to the menu."
Yes, 100%. No, in fact, we were actually working on our pernil and cazuela because, there were things about it that I wanted to go ahead and fix. And so we just actually brought that out, and I brought some of my older Cubans, which have known us forever, and they've been there from the start. We were giving it to
That's
them.
not me. I'm in the younger crowd.
He's a younger generation. And they were like, "Oh, this is great." So, also the same thing with the empanadas. Looking at not changing our empanadas. The whole idea now is more about the combination of the old recipes from Cuba that even some of the young Cubans today are not familiar with, which is really interesting.
Because they don't have the ingredients.
They don't have
I know
it,
that. I've noticed that
exactly.
too. New Cubans that come from Cuba talk about food that I don't even know.
Yeah.
And when you tell them our food, they're like, "What are you talking about?"
That's not Cuban.
But that's because they don't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the menu in
it's
Cuba
interesting.
literally, has changed.
100%. So that's part of my new challenge, to make sure that, number one, we are still preserving all of our older recipes that people love, and they can come back after years, maybe they moved away, and they say it still tastes the same.
The same.
And that's super
And then I
important.
bring my kids here. Yeah.
Exactly.
All that kind of stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me what I'm eating here.
Those are empanada de carne. Those are our beef turnovers, if you will.
So it's ground beef, Cuban ground.
Cuban ground
Picadillo.
beef. Picadillo.
This is
Exactly.
picadillo in here.
It is. And so those are super hot commodity. Those are one of those things we've been known for our empanadas, and people love them. Kids love them.
He's on a diet, so I'm not even.
Not diet, I have that
Your tooth.
hole in my tooth, yeah. But
That's
this
a
soup
long
is
time.
delicious.
Go ahead. So glad you're
Oh,
enjoying
really
it.
terrific.
That's
When you think of split pea soup, you don't think of
That.
that. It's like stew.
Yes.
Like I'm eating
Yes.
stew.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
Now the Cuban, is stew part of the thing where you have big clumps
A
of...
lot of our foods are very much kind of stew-like, but the way we eat them is we eat it with white rice. So, like for instance, if I was getting split pea, I would be putting a little bit of rice in there, and it just kind of brings it. It makes it more like a meal.
It's a rice diet. A lot of rice goes in every meal.
Neno
But to
taught
his
me.
point, we have
Yeah.
like garbanzos, split pea.
Oh yeah. Fava,
caldo gallego.
Caldo gallego, yeah. You got. I mean, there's just so many.
We do have a lot of
plantain.
citrus soup.
Oh yeah, plantain soup. I mean, we pretty much have a soup every single day.
What's in that? Calabaza. You can't tell me everything.
I can't tell you
Well, a
everything.
little bit. It's got.
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's got.
Looks like carrots, and if it's not, I don't want to know.
No,
No,
it's
no, no,
it's
no,
it's carrots.
it's-
It's
calabaza
calabaza
is-
is
yeah.
Potatoes, carrots.
No, but
And then
calabaza
you got
is
pork.
pumpkin, right?
Yeah, there's
Pumpkin.
I would say
Pumpkin,
sausage or
pumpkin.
something's in here.
It's got pumpkin. It's got ham.
Yes. So but it's a filling soup that
Oh, it's
really
delicious.
goes.
It's like stew.
It
I
is,
know
very
it's like
much.
stew.
Very much. Yeah.
And so, what is this?
So the ropa vieja is our beef skirt, and it's just
Shredded.
it's shredded, yes. And this is our most popular
Because it's
dish.
like it's old clothes shredded, basically. Ropa
100%.
vieja.
100%. You got your bell peppers in there. You got pimientos. You got your onion.
It has a little bit of wine in it, right?
It's got but it's not just regular wine. It's our cooking wine.
Right.
So that's the important part of it. So, but this dish people can't get enough of.
And then you got your white rice, black beans,
Yep.
plantains.
Plantains.
But that's a staple. Pulled
Yes.
pork. I use pulled pork as a, but I mean pork,
Well,
Well,
no, not this
this-
one. This
this
is
beef.
Beef.
This is a beef
beef,
one.
But
Yes.
yes.
beans, and rice.
There's-
That's a staple.
Yes.
There's
100%.
lechon asado, which is what you're talking about.
Yes. So yeah, the pulled pork, kind of that idea. The way we do it, we do a pork leg, or some people do a whole pig, and we actually put our special garlic sauce that we've had since forever.
That's great.
Yes, but it's one of those things that you have to make sure everybody's eating the garlic sauce, not just one person.
True.
But yes, in fact, we just finished doing all of our Christmas meals, which the majority of them go out as our cena navideña, which is a pork leg. And then a lot of people will actually get the congri, which is a different version of our rice, but it's the black beans and white rice cooked together with ham in it as well. And a lot of times people get yuca, which is yucca with a garlic sauce on top of it. And that's very typical of Cuba.
Do you cater?
We do.
Oh,
We do,
goodness.
very much so,
Wow.
yes. We've done weddings, we've done baby shower, we've done graduations, you name it, whether it's outside. We've done you. Your
It's done my Christmas parties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we've gone all the way over to Cyprus.
Yeah, now it's Magnolia, but yeah,
Ooh,
even further
beautiful.
away, just because we just wanted to mess around with people.
No, that's great.
She couldn't find her new place.
Magnolia is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I'm closer to your mom, actually.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
closer to your mom. Her mom lives in Brennan.
Yeah, so, but yes.
All right, so tell us about the sandwich.
So the sandwich de Policia. So this sandwich was really the invention of my grandfather out in Cuba. So he was a police officer in Cuba. And sometimes he'd be hungry. He didn't have time to stop and just get food anywhere. So what he would do is he would get a piece of bread and he'd get some plantains and pork chunks, the masita de puerco. And he would just eat that and go walking down the street. That was his lunch. And so it was simple. There was nothing to it. But what happened is Mom wanted to have a little piece of our history further coming into the restaurant. And she created this sandwich, which has avocado in it. We've got chicharrón, which is the skin of the pork.
Pork rinds.
Yeah, and we've got just regular onion here.
So you got pork rinds,
We've got
Plantains?
plantains,
avocado,
and avocado,
onions,
and onion, and that's it.
and a Cuban bread.
On our Cuban bread.
What else do you want?
You don't need anything.
What else could there be?
Exactly, and then I have the chips to go ahead and have a little additional crunch,
Right.
but that's just me, and it just kind of took off. It took off, so
How long has Cafe Piquet been in existence?
96.
96, 10 years. No,
More than 10
96,
years.
20, no, 96,
So that's 4, 7, 20, there you go.
27? 27 years? 27 years.
Yeah, and I've been part of it since 2007.
27 years. Fantastic. Listen, if you guys are ever in the Houston area, if you want Cuban food in Houston, this is the best Cuban place in Houston. I actually don't know what other Cuban places there are because this is where we always come to, right? This is the best Cuban restaurant. It is like coming to your aunt's house or your family's house. The service is incredible. The people are kind. It's a fun atmosphere. Sometimes you have music, right?
Sometimes we have music. It's not all the time. But from time to
I know
time.
it's sometimes I walk in, there's music playing as well, or people getting ready for music. Anyway, Cuban food in Houston, Piquet on Bissonnet. Come out, see Cristina, her gang, the best Cuban restaurant in Houston. Thank you for being on.
No,
thank you for letting
thank
us do
you.
this here. Judge, thank you for being with
My
us.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for all you
so
do,
much.
too.
Appreciate all my,
Love you.
more to come.
Thank you for listening to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, your main source for all things good and fun, business, food, and cars. If you like this episode, make sure to rate us and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please leave a message at the link below. Till next time, happy eating.